Hey, like, this is like, how did we get here? How are we still going kind of moment? This feels insane, but Game 7 it is. Christmas Crew Battles Day number 2. Skyward Series AEGL bringing it to you. Grand Final spot on the line. Prize money on the line. And a Game 7 for Fisher and I. It seems like we're cursed with them in the best of ways. Who will get the advantage on Champions Field? 100x Fate or Bubble Guppies?
Interesting to see what happens here, and once again for Fate, it's not going to be Crypto in this lineup. It'll be MKO instead. Question during game number 5, but with the clip they've been paying at, can't any longer, but a big demo, a big goal. Metallicara, 18 seconds in, going to take the lead, and what a play from the Octane. Absolutely massive. One of these teams going to have to make something happen. Metallicara hit away.
The recovery.
The bump on the way down.
MKO
trying to get it on net. Too wide.
30 seconds left to go. We've seen it all happen. 2 at the net for Bubble Guppies to keep it out. 20 left to go. MKO's got a rush. It's got a net. It's going to go in. It goes to Dillerton. Bubble Guppies might have stamped their ticket to the grand finals. Can 100x Fate recover? They've got 21 seconds for us to find out. But the nice response from Ignite sends it back to a defense. Logan's there for it, but that keeps Mach 10 from trying to make plays, trying to shoot the shooter's shot. Can they do it this time is the big question.
All in air, aiming for the corner of the goalpost, unable to get quite in play, but Verified right where he needed to be, finds the perfect setup for the perfect goal.
That was awesome from Verified to make the read off of Logan there, and for Adam to get the bumps across too, to not allow Ignite to be as comfortable on the defense in the net there. So the first crazy offense we've seen, it was no good to go in. Here comes a shot from JC Fogg, not gonna go in, gets blocked away, but Bowa takes a demo forward. That sets up Jay and Juicyberg, but neither one can find a way to get it home. Bowa follows up, that sets it up. Can Jay find it? No. Now Atomic sends it back across the pitch and looks for it. Can he find it? Not yet, but still aggression plays off of it. Bowa cannot block that one, and Smokey gets it in.
You want to feel at your opponents, see how they respond to when you're just this aggressive. And what better way to do it than right off the top, going for some air bumps, but not going to be quite successful. Gogger having to retreat right back, get some big boost for your name, but going to be trying to put on the aggression themselves. Now Ignite moving it down the field.
We're seeing demos galore, baby. Pop, 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 pop. I love it so much. Now a shot comes out. A shot goes in from Unknown EU. I love it. Let's come out. Let's get chaotic. Let's just lose our minds. That's exactly what we're seeing off the rip from Unknown EU.
Corpses on the floor, bodies everywhere, goals already in. Nicely done there by Unknown to put it in less than 30 seconds. You think we're Unknown?
So far, the fireworks have to wait, but Ignite's not done making plays happen at the net.
Thanks to scrounging right now for tiny boosts. You need a bit more if you're going to be playing that solid defense, buddy. You can see him now starving. Both members there of Unknown, only one. Acuna having anything left in the tank.
Soda!
Could be trouble. Some of these shots from Soda. Make it 3-2. They break through the tie.
What a good read there from Soda. You can see it in the replay. Reading it so well from midfield, adjusting and finding the perfectly timed, not even really center, just kind of bounced off the crossbar and Soda was ready.
Yep.
That gives them the 1-goal lead. With 39 seconds left to go, that's a great spot for Ignite to be sitting to get themselves through. I mean, they're on match point. They're up 2-0 at this point. No more craziness if you win here in the 3v3. You're just on, but instantly the response comes through, and the response is oh so good from Unknown EU.
I mean, 3-3, that's the best you could hope there for.
I'm starting to get stressed. This matchup has me stressed like none we've seen. Both these teams want to be here tomorrow night. They want to make it to those grand finals, and they both had interesting paths here, but it's hard not to respect the Cinderella story still staying alive, still keeping it tied up with 50 seconds to go. But now Affinity Prospects, they want to break that glass slipper in two. They send one back, and Waffles makes it 3-2.
What a goal, Affinity Prospects. Back.
Looking for a shot, not going to find it. 15 seconds left, and NSG's chances, their shots are running thin. Affinity Prospects are eyeing the grand finals. Is that the final dagger? It might be. Duber makes it 4-2-2.
Been singing their praises all set and might have just got the clinching goal. They've done it in this time, but I don't know if they can get to. They need something miraculous here off the kickoff.
Man's gonna lead the way. Call Red will be behind, but we'll see for how long until we get another shot. Here it comes! Here comes Red! Not gonna find it yet!
Note Academy gonna have another chance at offense here. No hit away by Waffles. Can it be a goal? No. Command Battle. So Command Battle misses!
What a two! Waffles! Timing is everything. The positioning is everything. We've said that a million times, right? 25 seconds ago, and we're certainly not going to count them out until the last possible second. Command Battle might be the last hope. Now 20 seconds to go, and Affinity Prospects are still hanging on. They got 15 seconds on the clock, and all they got to do is not let Unknown Academy score. Every second that goes is one closer to Affinity Prospects wearing the heavy crown. Unknown Academy down to 5, and that will be the difference. The Affinity Prospects will hold the crown. All splash, no wake. Affinity Prospects take the Riptide Cup. Hello guys, how's it going everybody? It's RLSS time, baby. It's Riptide Cup. It's Olivett Gaming versus the N2N Titans. My name's Anthony Malm, joined by ZekVexol on his first Rocket League cast over from Smite. Thanks for joining in. I'm very sorry to have brought up the the scary pass of the previous championship, but Zek, welcome in. Welcome to RLSS. How are you doing?
You know, alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic, excited to be here. It's week number 3 here for the RLS Riptide Cup, and you know what better way than these two teams? Team next to New Titans and Olivett Gaming. Olivett Gaming has had an electric start here at the start of the season. You know, 2 back-to-back wins. Next to New Titans, meanwhile, a little bit short-handed in week number 1, but week number 2 came back fire with a massive 3-0 against the Three Musketeers. So I'm looking for a good game today.
I am too. I'm always looking for a good game when it's Olivett. Always looking for a good game when it's RLSS, which, speaking of RLSS, before we do get into the fun stuff, a big thank you to all those sponsors that help RLSS out this season. You can see them across the screen at all times, so a big thank you to them for making it happen, making it possible for RLSS to do all this cool stuff. The jerseys at the end of the season to the MVPs, the custom ones at that, all cool stuff. But, you know, aside from just obviously being a good, this is a great game on paper, both of these teams weren't really listed in the power rankings, aside from S-Class Wizard for Olivett Gaming, not listed in the top performing players. So while both are great teams, they both have a little bit of something to prove this week, and I think that lends it to being even more exciting of a game.
Yeah, getting that defining moment for your team and really, I guess, getting that footing underneath you to staple your position here in this league. Teams are constantly looking for that opportunity to just find themselves, define themselves, and really set themselves apart from the rest. And I think these two teams right here got the chance.
They do indeed. We're just waiting on Olivett Gaming currently. N2N are sitting, waiting in lobby, so shouldn't be too long until game time. But again, thank you everybody stopping by. Curio, Aaron, first time I've seen your name. I saw Slate earlier. Waffles, good to see you. Saw Gray earlier. A lot of people hanging on. Always waiting on Solo, I know, man. Always waiting on all of that, right? Thanks for the follow, Zippy, as well. Now, tell me, Zek, so your first time casting Rocket League, what's some big stuff you're looking forward to seeing? What's kind of the craziness you're excited to see, hoping to see?
You know, comparatively to Smite, we have a little bit faster gameplay. A lot of bit faster gameplay. Everything kind of just happens much more quickly, more fast-paced. So just jumping into the action right out of the gate, I think, is what's going to be exciting. There's no real time to, I guess, talk about builds, talk about slow kind of things, because seeing this kind of just gameplay. It's gameplay. You know, strictly it's just cars. They go to get a boost, they grab the ball, they slam it into the goal, and I mean, it's exciting. What else can you really say about it?
Exciting as can be, and I bet you are excited because we are about to get going. I'm going to give them the okay, good to start right now, and we'll get into game, Zek. It's Olivett Gaming, it's N2N Titans, it's Rocket League, it's RLSS. What else can you beat with it? Oh, so excited. Love Rocket League. It's been a bit for me.
It's been a bit for you?
Yeah, it's been over
about a week.
Been about a week. That's a long time in the casting world, Zach. I miss it.
Oh, come
but
on.
getting to share with somebody who's getting to cast their first one is even more exciting.
And here we are going into game number 1. There's the kickoff right now. Manfield, exciting little matchup, nighttime, and already it looks like the ball is in the hands of N2N Titans. Keeping it down and moving it down to Olivett Gaming's side of the field, wanting to keep that pressure up right out of the gate.
I always see Olivett try to score early, try to get the pressure on quickly. But last time I cast them, they were having some problems with that aggressive offense because they were leaving a lot open on defense. And last season, Olivett Gaming, they were the kings of rotations. So they got to get back on that this week if they want things to work.
Yeah, really good shadow defense right now. Solo Nail keeping that pressure, keeping that ball down onto the N2N Titans side of the field. Wanted to make sure Olivett, like you said, keeps up that early pressure, but what I am noticing in the back is there is an open net. You know, so one little slip up, one little mistake, and all of a sudden N2N is just bam, that's a goal. You know, you got to be careful.
A lot of times when that happens, it feels like Olivett relies on S-Class Wizard to be Johnny in the spot, but getting back to defense. Will it happen this time? Etch-a-Sketch able to find an opening, and off the bounce from the backboard, Zach, make it 1-0.
That's exactly what we were talking about, you know, just not there. I mean, Solo got there at the end, but, you know, unable to get that height up there to deflect that ball, gotten the goal. So really good start right now from N2N Gaming. 1 minute on the dot for that first goal.
Like I said, it happens to always be the 1 minutes with me. It seems to be my curse in Rocket League. The teams come out that quickly and score that much. And especially in Riptide Cup, you'll see a lot of shooting and... okay.
Oh, yeah. Not slowing down. So we went from 1 minute to 14 seconds. A little bit of a pace difference there for N2N Gaming.
A little bit. A little bit. I feel like so far, it's honestly very similar to what I saw in my first cast in week 1 that had Olivett Gaming. It almost feels like they're kind of caught off guard, a little bit caught out, not prepared for the offense.
I think a big problem is as soon as that first goal comes out, all of a sudden you're on defense. You're thinking, okay, well, as the ahead team, you're on defense. As the behind team, you're thinking, oh god, we gotta score. We gotta score now, because if we don't score now, then we're gonna be panicking later. But now you're panicking now. You know, you're just putting yourself in positions now to try to set up goals, and then you're just leaving more open. And I think what we talked a little bit about for Olivett Gaming, where they're playing this aggressive offense, now they're playing even more aggressive offense and leaving more opportunities open for the opposing team to just get in there and secure a goal. You got to be worried about that kind of stuff, and you got to not panic in those kind of instances.
That's a really good point from you. Zero actually pulled through big off that corner angle, but Olivett's still aggressive. Zippy will be able to not fully clear it out. Solo's there, Zek, so the offense not going to stop yet from Olivett.
Yeah, just Sketch looking around, but right now, Olivett keeping up some pretty good pressure, making sure that Solo keeps that ball down over onto the Olivett side of the field. With good rotations right now, actually, from Olivett Gaming. I take back what I said as the shot comes over, but it is unsuccessful. Zero is waiting in the goal, ready for that one, and was ready to get it away. But really good bring right back down. Solo Nail wanting to make sure that this ball stays on the pressure over on the side of N2N Gaming. I mean, you got 2 goals you got to catch up now, and you got 2.5 minutes to do so.
That was such clean passing from Olivett Gaming. That's the kind of synergy that they tend to bring out, but they've got to continue it up, and now their net's open.
Yeah, open net, we saw this before. The shot is taken, the shot is made. Etch-a-Sketch scores that one, putting it a 3-0 lead for N2N Titans right now.
Your first goal called in Rocket League, Zek, and it makes it 3-0 for N2N. This is the exact story that happened to Olivett in week 1. In game 1, they just did not look comfortable. But come the end of that series, they looked like a new team. So certainly possible to happen here, but they've got to get that defense tightened up and find some new openings on offense.
Yeah, finding your footing right now and making sure that you have those, that mental fortitude. And maybe, you know, they're just a late game team. You got to remember there's, you know, 4 quarters of football, and there's, well, best of 5 right now in Rocket League. Playing every single round and making sure you're there from the start to the end, because you won't have instances where you have this early game available to you to play it into the late game. You know, sometimes you need to just right out of the gate be consistent, be there from the start to the end, and you know, I think Olivett can definitely do that.
They can indeed, and they aren't afraid to make crazy plays. They will draw up on their whiteboard with the X's and O's and try to make things happen. They have 1 minute and 20 seconds to do it now, and Class Wizard, somebody who was quite the shooter last week, was even in contention for the clip of the week, certainly attempting to do it again. And if I'm if I'm N2N, I'm prepared for an onslaught of offense, and maybe the best defense could be continued offense here if you are N2N, but Olivett has a clean break.
Yeah, it looks like Olivett's doing their best. They're trying to even just get the ball down to the N2N side of the field, but all the meanwhile, N2N, all they're doing is just playing defense. They're just keeping that ball away and making sure, but you know what? Maybe that defense isn't good enough because Solo Nalo just put the first score on the board for Olivett Gaming.
Yep, that is classic Solo there. Solo always gives me edge vibes, always the ultimate opportunist in plays and moments like that. Showing it right there, making it 1-3. And with 54 seconds left to go in game number 1 here, Zek, there's plenty of time for Olivett Gaming to come back if they can continue to mount offense. The key is keeping the ball away and not letting N2N waste the clock.
Yeah, N2N, second goal in 14 seconds. Easily doable to get 2 goals right now for Olivett Gaming. Plus, we got that end of game time, you know, before that ball touches the ground. So a lot of potential right now for Olivett Gaming to make it. Good shot attempt made, but unfortunately just right off the crossbar, and it's still keeping that ball right around that center field, right around the goal. A shot is made by Zippy. It goes in, and that puts up another point, further extending the lead for N2N.
That might be it here in game 1. A couple goals felt possible. 3 goals feels improbable if I'm Olivett Gaming. You never want to move on to the next game, but with 20 seconds left to go, at this point, if anything, I'm looking to make a couple clean shots and maybe work on something going into game 2 to make it feel better. But so far, a fantastic showing from the N2N Titans, just making Olivett look uncomfortable for the majority of the game, aside from that latter half that you actually were speaking on. So with 10 seconds left to go, it looks like game number 1 will go the way of N2N Titans.
Yeah, N2N really off to an electric start right now. Game number 1, setting the pace, 4-1, and that's really what you want to see because they're in the driver's seat right now in terms of the scores. So going on into game number 2, I think from Olivett Gaming, what I'm going to be looking forward to is, you know, seeing that kind of shadow defense not be as far up. They cheated up a little bit more often with their positioning, looking to assist on those goals, assist on those plays, but, you know, unable to find that kind of success because like we said, you know, one little slip up, that ball just gets right past you. What are you going to do? You know, you're the last man downfield.
Yeah, exactly. It's this kind of awkward balance, especially in the Riptide Cup, where you tend to see a lot of hyper-aggressive offenses that aren't afraid to, like you said, push up, try to make things happen. You run into this point of trying to figure out the balance of, okay, well, when do we work in the defense? Do we want to worry about the defense, or do we want to just go crazy with the shooting? And in that game, Olivett just kind of got caught looking for a bit too much and trying to make too much happen. And when they weren't trying too hard, essentially, it felt like they were doing great stuff, like that passing attempt we saw from Solo to Seema to Wizard. Yeah, it looked good, yeah. It looked so great. So you would think that if they can do more of that, it would be near impossible for the Titans to run away with the game too. But then you look at the score and you say, that's not fair to say either.
Right, but you know, if we look at scores all the time, it's, you know, just look at the score overall. The scores don't read it on paper. You know, you said it going into these 2 games, these 2 teams, the scores don't really read what these 2 teams have to show, both having to prove something right now in this league, in this season. So I think there's a lot of potential right here. If, as you said, Olivett Gaming plays around those rotations, plays off of one another, sets each other up, looks for those goals attempts, looks to, I don't know, maybe even just demo somebody off the goal, then bam, you know, you'll be putting up the scores yourself instead. But if you're going to be playing this kind of I don't want to say they're playing a solo game. They're not playing a solo game. It's just a little less coordination than I would want to see.
It's your first Riptide Cup, your first RLS game, and you're already calling for demos. I know somewhere Curio is just smiling hearing that come through, but I'm looking for the same thing because Olivett, I've seen them do it before. I've seen Solo turn the drunk dad in the bleachers and just take everybody out and make sure that you have openings, and that might be a secret key to success that Olivett could use to disrupt this offense coming out from N2N.
Yeah, look at the spacing already. You can see N2N first off, immediate pressure, keeping the ball over on Olivett's side of the field. Number 2, Zippy has been playing back here on this shadow defense, watching the goal. That's what I'm saying about having a man downfield ready for defense at all times. Yes, you can cheat up. Yes, you can move up. But look at the positioning. He wants to make sure that nobody gets past him, and that's the most important part, because if somebody does get past you, it's a game 1 all over again, except for N2N instead.
Under that 1 minute now and no score, so a rarity for me. maybe you're the good luck charm of having a late game pop off here, but will that be a caster's curse? I guess is the big question. Zippy trying to reset into that net to be prepared for anything Olivett brings through, but Olivett notably did bring in a substitute here. They have on the bomb in, and Bob did so great last week at coming in as a substitute and revitalizing Olivett. Maybe he can do it again. S-Class Wizard gets one through, but Zippy with the huge save.
Really good lob shot right there. You said it too. Bob brings a different kind of energy for this team. And we saw it over in week number 1 against Team Sky, where it just felt like he kind of came in and the pace of this team felt a little bit different.
There it is.
There it is, yeah. You know, what else can we say? I'm the Bob. I'm putting the first one away for Olivett Gaming and getting them their lead for the first time in this set.
That is exactly what you need to see if you are an Olivett Gaming fan, is them to bring in the substitute to shake off the Game 1 vibes and come in new and fresh and get that crime family mentality back going. And if I'm N2N, I don't want to let that last very long, but Solo with the demo going through, maybe making it possible. Bob set up, but Zippy going to win that to get it back aggressive for N2N.
This Class Wizard making his way down the field, trying to get that ball back over onto the N2N side of the field right now. Oh, really good attempt right now from Solo, but unfortunately it was deflected. Now looks like Zero trying to position the ball over in the center field, lining up, nobody really ready. Or the assist, open goal from downtown. It's Solo Nalo putting that one away.
Solo moment, just a pure Solo moment right there. Just, what did I say? The ultimate opportunist in the right place at the right time to nail it through to make it 2-0 for Olivett Gaming. They've come out looking completely different, and you know, in terms of like the field domination, the ball possession, everything's even. But in terms of the way the shots have looked, this has been a totally different, it's a flip-flop, essentially. Olivett Gaming looks so much sharper in this game number 2.
Yeah, and you know Solo's going to be coming on to clip that one for himself. Clip those 2 for himself right now as he just puts another one away, extending the lead 3-0 right now for Olivett Gaming, and we're halfway through this game.
It's literally a repeat of week number 1 of how Olivett is coming back from the tough loss in game number 1 and just looking like the Olivett Gaming of old, the Olivett Gaming of season 1 for those oldies out there. And I love to see that from Olivett Gaming, and if I'm N2N, I'm certainly not panicking because you know how strong you can play, but you got to adjust something. Zippy has played fantastic defense, but you might maybe need some more control. Zero with the air dribble to help clear it away, but kind of didn't really have any help waiting at the bottom. Both other teammates were hanging out in the net, prepared for any shots that could follow up. So no chance for N2N yet. Solo tries to bring it through. Not going to be there.
Yeah, Zero ready. I think I'm seeing Zero and Zippy all the way, just making these kind of rotations across mid. You see always somebody at the goal for N2N, and it's really good because you have somebody set up for defense, but it feels like it's not enough. The Solo just puts another one away. That is 4-0 now. A minute 42 left in this game number 2.
The pass into Class Wizard, who just daps it up with the perfect angle to make it 4-0 there. Sometimes Olivett's passing looks way more Surge or Tsunami than it does Olivett. I used to say that about their rotations, but as I've seen them more, sometimes their passing does look that way. And N2N just feel quiet this game, Zach. That's my big thing. They feel quiet. They don't feel as explosive as they did, and explosive seems to be the way to keep Olivett off their game. So they have to get some of that explosive energy back. You mentioned demos, and I mentioned Olivett, and now I'm starting to look for it from N2N. Have some fun, get a little aggressive. You're already down 4-0. Take some risks. Etch a sketch, trying to find it home, but Solo will get credit for the save, and it's cleared away. Now Zippy with a follow-up, not going to find it either.
60 seconds almost on the clock. 4 goals to go right now for N2N. They're doing their best to keep the ball down here, applying that kind of pressure. I'm starting to see that aggression coming out from them here, but is it too little too late right now? You know, you got 4 goals to go. You got 50 seconds on the clock. All kind of getting centered up right now, but S-Class Wizard is there for the defense now. Back down to N2N's side of the field. If they can just keep up this pressure, stall out the clock, that's going to be game number 2 right now for Olivett, and getting 4 goals in 40 seconds. It's going to be a little difficult.
Yeah, I've seen 3 and 30, but 4 and 30 does feel pretty much too tall of a task. If I'm Olivett, I'm just trying to make the shutout at this point, get some, nervousness out, get some worries out, say, all right, we came back, we shut him out, we made that look clean and easy. If I'm N2N, I'm saying, all right, well, what changed? Obviously, it was a substitute for Olivett in terms of on paper, but the map changed a bit, that's true.
It's a nicer look, yeah, easier on the eyes.
So look for what changed. If it was something in comms, if it was something with hey, let's do this. Let's have this be the focus. Let's rotate this out. Whatever that might have been, consider running it back and go from there and change it up from there. And I certainly feel like N2N Titans are going to be able to do that cleanly, and I'm not really worried about it. I just need to see them do it is the big thing.
Yeah, game number 2 going for Olivett Gaming, evening up our set right out of the gates. Just kind of hitting back, you know, in the sense, really trying to decide whether or not, you know, if that game number 1 was we're just going to feel out our opponent and see how they play and see their play style, see their rotations, and then come in game number 2, game number 3, game number 4, swinging and just sweep the rest of this set. Like, what is the actual game plan here for Olivett Gaming? Because right now, you know, it's starting to lean towards that for me. Come in game number 1, feel them out, see how it plays out, and then attack from there.
Yeah, it indeed is it's kind of a toss-up on where to go and what to do with that. Looks like there is a question I don't have an answer to, so let me pass that along to somebody who actually can give an answer. While we do wait to get into game number 3. We'll see if they start the game or if it's a wait. Let me pass that along. Sorry for the interruption there. We will head towards the match, but it might be a moment before it starts here. But yeah, very back and forth so far.
Doesn't seem like we're going to be slowing down waiting at all, because right now jumping into DFH Stadium here, third game for Olivett Gaming, N2N Titans in this matchup. Already N2N just wanted to get the ball down, apply that kind of pressure we saw in game number 1, keep the ball down here, apply what they can. Solo Nalo on the defense, and now immediately right back down over to Olivett's side.
S-Class Wizard tried to make something happen from the ceiling there and had some boost to play with, but not going to find it. Calls a Tighten Up Titans in the chat, so N2N need to do that here. Series currently tied in this best of 5 here in week number 3. Olivett Gaming, we're looking for it. On the bomb into S-Class Wizard, into the net to make it 1-0.
Look at that, sets him up off the backboard, gets that bounce, that little rebound right there, bomb, bam, off the back, bam, here comes S-Class Wizard right in. We saw this in game number 2, and here in game number 3, it's no different right now for Olivett Gaming. A good under-minute goal for you. You like those.
Yeah, you love to see that if you are an Olivett Gaming fan. You hate to see it if you're an N2N Titans fan, but there's still plenty of room to play with. It's not 4-0 with 30 seconds left. You still have over 4 minutes to play with. You know, Etch-a-Sketch was somebody who was making a lot of shots in game number 1. I feel like we saw a lot of the time Etch-a-Sketch was almost waiting on top of the net of Olivett Gaming. I would like to see that come back too from N2N. A change-up or a return to form of some kind is sort of needed at this point. 1-0 is not bad to work with, but I mentioned at the end of game number 2, you've got to look at what's changing and what you can bring back.
Yeah, seeing a fresh face instantly halfway through a set can really just, I guess, shake things up, because you got somebody with a different playstyle, you got someone with a different approach, and you could have came in with a game plan. All of a sudden, this one individual just shakes that up because they don't fall into what you had planned for this entire time. Shot getting close to the goal. Unfortunately, able to get cleared away right now. Olivett Gaming, the pressure is on from N2N. Meanwhile, Zippy playing a lot further up. Nobody down back by the goal. I think this is what we needed to see from N2N, because I said it a little bit in game number 1, how they had somebody back by the goal at all times. Good rotations on that front to make sure that nothing did come their way. But then you are, as you said, lacking that kind of person on the offense. Unable to get that extra hand up front on the field. And hold that thought right now as the ball is getting close to center. A good attempt set up from Olivett Gaming, but unfortunately unable to find it.
I'm kind of surprised that went down that way, but now we're seeing Olivett very low in boost, at least for the moment. N2N could use that to their advantage. It didn't last for long, but those are the openings you have to take if you are N2N. They're holding on much stronger. They've been keeping 0 at midfield a lot this game, which is what you're talking about. And I want to see that even more, honestly. Maybe even push 0, kind of go for some corner plays, make that the big attempt. I think it can work for N2N, and maybe you can find Olivett slipping.
Yeah, maybe needing that happy medium between the two teams. You know, we talked a little bit in game number 1, Olivett just being super aggressive and then just kind of not having that man downfield once they felt like they were down, to now here over N2N is kind of the exact opposite. They have that man always downfield. They had that man always ready by the goal, rotating him out. You know, I'm seeing Zippy back there, 0 back there. I'm seeing Just sketch back there, just constantly making those kind of rotations for the defense that may or may not even come. You know, maybe the ball's just being kept down over on the N2N Titan side. I'm sorry, over on the Olivett side.
Etch-a-Sketch just did the exact play I was looking for, Zek. Waited at midfield, waited for an opening, grabbed the boost, came from the corner, looked for a shot. Didn't find it, didn't even get credit for one on goal, but it's the idea of trying to make it work, but oh no! N2N just get caught with everybody looking at the same incident, and Olivett Gaming make it work to their favor to make it 2-0.
A little, too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many people in the net right now for N2N, unable to get that one out of there, and just kind of extending that lead for Olivett Gaming right now. And with how slow, I guess, game number 3 has been so far comparatively to the other games, I don't think that's something you want to see from N2N.
Yeah, not at all. You absolutely cannot allow that to be the case here. We're seeing them try with Etch-a-Sketch again to set up, and maybe this is an opening for it. Ends up being Zippy, who runs into Class Wizard, but it gets sent back to 0. Net's fairly open, but Class Wizard once again just finds the perfect time to get through and interrupt what has the makings of a great play from N2N. They have not been allowed to do anything so far, despite really good setup consistently.
Something I'm noticing is S-Class Wizard is constantly trying to keep his boost close to full. Yeah, I say that right now, he's at 0, but close to full most of the time, looking for those kind of attempts where he can either A, make that save, B, come in there for that strike that we've been seeing to get that shot on the goal off the setup of his team, but always lurking nearby, pretty heavy on his boost, likes to hold on to that.
All of that, I thought maybe they'd be set up. Wizard from the corner, we've seen this a million times in RLSS. That does give an opportunity, but not going to be there yet. So Olivett Gaming now have a choice. The ball's at midfield, and Solo will bring it through the corner, actually able to split between 2 players, which is burning a lot of time, Zek. We're down below. We're at 20 seconds to go now. Oh.
20 seconds and this ball is immediately, as we're saying it, right in by the N2N goal. So very close right there, getting down to the 12-second mark. This one's looking like it's probably going to go the way of Olivett Gaming here in game number 3 of the last-ditch attempt from N2N. It looks like it's not going to be good enough as the ball is, hold that thought, going
there
down right there, putting the game away. That's game number 3. Olivett Gaming taking a charge, taking a lead here in the set.
They are indeed. Now, Zek, I mean, I have typed something to the players, so it's a good excuse to kind of get your thoughts so far, but what's your big takeaways so far?
Fast-paced. You know, game number 1 and game number 2 specifically. A lot of fast-paced action. You know, we saw just, bam, right out of the gate, N2N, shoving that down the throat of Olivett Gaming. It felt like Olivett Gaming didn't have any breathing room. And, you know, you talked a little bit as we were finishing up game number 2, going into game number 3, is what changed. Yeah, you know, we swapped in I'm the Bob over for Olivett Gaming, but is that it? You know, is that really all it takes to just shift things up for N2N? Just to shake it up in their heads? What it is I think they just... they're a momentum team from the looks of it, if I say so, in game number 1.
100%. Momentum is the name of their game, and you know, for both N2N and all of that, I feel like we're seeing a lot of personality in their gameplay so far, which is something I love to see. You and I both are very familiar with the idea of casting a lot of draft leagues where teams don't have synergy. It takes them a while to kind of come online and get used to each other. But in leagues like this, I mean, in the case of Olivett Gaming, they're quite literally family, which you can't beat the synergy of family. But I think that just kind of brings to the personality of things. You can tell that Olivett are a team that focus on, we're going to play clean, and that's how we're going to get our win. And so far, for N2N, I get the feel of, we're shooters, let's shoot. But Seema down through, but Zippy able to get the save. Etch-a-Sketch was also ready off the ceiling. No early goal so far.
Yeah, sometimes I take synergy over skill any day, because if you can get along with people, you can make plans, you can come up with strategies and something that works for you much better and work through the hard times, honestly. And game number 1, I guess that's working through the hard times right now as a shot gets made on the score. Zippy putting one on the board for N2N, right? 30 seconds in, there you go.
That's exactly what you want to see if you are rooting for the N2N Titans tonight, is to see them come back here in game number 4, make it quick, make it clean, not give Olivett time. That first minute is so important in Olivett games in particular. It's why I talk about it so much in other games, is because Olivett is a team I've watched so much. that I learned the importance of that first minute. So to see N2N come out after losing 2 games in a row and be unfazed, get a quick goal, it's a great sign of things to come potentially, but now Olivett Gaming looking good, but not going to find it thanks to some decent defense. Now Zero will try to bring it through and has a lot of boost for his teammates to follow up.
Yeah, first time N2N has had that early lead since game number 1, and when they had it in game number 1, they kept up that pressure, they kept it going, they shoved it down the throats of Olivett. So I want to keep seeing that. I want to see that N2N make their way, get that kind of comfort back in for them. And whether it was off of the misplays of Olivett or off of their own merits, you know, either way, seeing that kind of pressure get built up and shoved it down.
That's a sketch.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was some risk there, Zek. But yeah, that was a big breath holder. Etch a Sketch just made that look so calm. I would have panicked and undershot it 100%.
Yeah, you can't expect me to hit this thing within a mile of those goals. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I could turn on the hacks and I'd still be going wide right. I'd be absolutely pulling a Buffalo Bill all over the place.
Got it official right there. Anthony does, in fact, possess hacks. Is not afraid to pull them out. Zero is not afraid to pull out another score for N2N, giving them that 2-0 lead that they are looking for here in game number 4.
N2N, you love to see that from them. I always love the potential of a Game 5. I always say it. I'm always rooting for a series or a set to go the max length. That's who I'm rooting for. And so far, N2N are making it feel like a big possibility that your first cast could have a Champions Field, Zek. Now, is it completely locked in yet? Certainly not. Olivett Gaming, we're seeing them get demoed. We're seeing sort of that uncomfiness that we had discussed a little bit prior. They got to clean it up before it's too late in this game. We've seen 4 be the magic number a couple of times in this series, so let's definitely keep our eyes on that. But at the same time, we haven't seen an overtime, and Olivett loves their overtime games, Zek. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those snuck in this series as well.
Yeah, one thing I am noticing is they kept Bob in, but they swapped out Solo for Sema here in game number 4.
I believe they did that in game 4 of the week 1 as well, which is interesting that continues to be their strategy. I guess they just like certain people in certain games, get everybody some play time, some experience. Etch a Sketch giving them the ceiling experience that time, dropping it in to make it 3-0, 2:14 left on the clock. So Olivett need to start turning things around, but Etch a Sketch, a great shot there, making that look like one of the easier shots of this entire series.
Yeah, really clean, extending their lead and getting that kind of pressure that N2N needs right now here in game number 4 to extend this set, like you've been saying, getting us to that game number 5, getting us to that Champions Field. And now all the pressure's on Olivett. Can we make this comeback? I mean, it's 3 goals, 2 minutes. You know, we were talking about 3 goals in 30 seconds. You got a little bit more time to work with right now here.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't have 30 seconds. You got 1 minute and 50 to work with if you're Olivett. But they haven't been on offense a lot this game. It's been majority N2N just shooting away, making it feel like a penalty shot in hockey is consistently. So if I'm Olivett Gaming, it's time to take a page out of what N2N adjusted to and saying, okay, let's position a little more aggressive. Let's leave our net open, take the risk. But you can't leave it open there. Zippy gonna make it 4-0 for N2N with 1:33 left to go, and with 4 continuing to be that magic number. Is that the end? Is that the lock-in of a Game 5?
Yeah, you said let's take a little risk and leave our net open, but I think that's biting Olivett in the butt right now. You know, wanting to switch up your style, wanting to get a little bit more aggressive right now. Here in game number 4, I mean, you're down 0-4. What is really your option other than taking those kind of risks, applying the kind of pressure that you need to do? It comes down to, I think, what we said in game number 1 is keeping that kind of cool, keeping your cool, getting the there's a word I'm looking for, and it's just not there, but you know, don't you just hate that? But wanting to keep, you know, I'll leave it right there. Keep your cool and keep that mentality of, you know, down but not out. Play our game.
Exactly. Composure's key.
Yes. There we go. That was the C word. Composure.
the most polite C word we can use in an 04 if you're an Olivett Gaming fan, certainly. That's Class Wizard. Will take a shot across the pitch. It's got a chance, but speaking of wide right, that's exactly where it goes. Still a chance for Olivett, but 0 to Zippy. Gets caught by Bob. Etch a Sketch there, too. It doesn't stop. You would think the game was tied all of a sudden, but still 4-0, and we're staring a Game 5 in the face.
20 seconds on the clock, and it looks like N2N are happy putting this one away. Meanwhile, Bob wanting to take that shot a little bit right at the end, but unfortunately, it looks like N2N is none the wiser, chilling back by their goal, still ready, still wanting to make sure that Olivett walks away with a donut this game.
Yeah, it's deja vu all over again. It's different colors this time, and that means it's Champions Field. That means it's a Game 5. Welcome to Rocket League, Zek. You get the best start you can possibly ask for, and this has been a crazy back and forth, but because it's been so back and forth, I actually don't know where this next one's going to go. I have no idea.
It's been really back and forth, like you were saying. And one thing that I do notice is in game number 1, in game number 4, if you give N2N that lead, it feels like they just turn up the aggression. And, you know, meanwhile, over in games 2 and 3, when it felt like they were down and out, you know, kind of not really there, they were struggling to find that aggression. So if you give N2N this lead in game number 5, it's going to be difficult, I think, because they just turn it up even further and further. So got to watch yourself there.
Yeah, there's no room for games. There's not room for the mistakes that we've seen a few times now. There's only room for perfection in Game 5. That's sort of the key of it. And in Game 5s, you know, just out of the fact I've seen them a lot, I certainly would, if I had to, like, you know, pick for my life, I would go towards experience that I've seen from Olivett. But if I had to go off what we've seen so far in this series, honestly, I'm leaning towards Titans with what we've seen in terms of what they bring to offense and how they take advantage. But it's Game 5, Zek.
Game 5 in the set. Who's going to walk away with it? We are here on Champions Field. I'm excited. You know, one thing I did notice, too, is Solo Nalo back in the game. Okay. Swap out Sweet C-Map.
Yeah,
so
Seema heading to the bench for Solo, now will come back in and see what can be done. I do like that change, especially. I feel like it just fits what we saw in the best games of Olivett so far.
Yeah, it feels like you have this person who fits the rotation style that Olivett is trying to go for. You know, you constantly have somebody on offense, you constantly have somebody on defense, swapping around and getting demoed. But nonetheless, you know, Olivett, I feel like it's kind of a good synergy between these three, I want to say.
It is indeed. It comes back to that family aspect. Solo pulling through big for the family there, not allowing an early 1-0 for N2N, but they're not done yet. Zero looks for it, but does get stopped from making it happen. But Bob also a little bit off. That leaves a new opening for N2N.
Yeah, N2N wanting to keep this ball down, keep the aggression over on the side of Olivett's side of the field. Right now, just trapped in this corner.
Zero!
Oh, no way. Yeah, I held my breath on that one, too. Zero getting absolutely close to knocking that one in off the back post. But Bob is just there. He's there. He's ready to knock it out. He's ready to clear that ball on out of there. And again, back in this corner, Bob back in the goal, wanting to get this ball on out of here, but they just are struggling to do so.
They really are so far. Every game I've said, oh, this team looks so different from this game. They should try to go back to this game. So far, both teams look completely unrecognizable from anything we've seen in this series. Solo trying to bring back what we recognize. He does it. Makes it 1-0 for Olivett Gaming.
Yeah, right as you were talking about it too, but I agree 1000%. It feels like we are looking at two different teams, and it feels like they have pulled out all the stops here in game number 5 and really just coming together in their own rights and executing. Now that first goal is on the table, now what's going to happen? Because this is where we start to see a little bit of a shakeup.
It is indeed. If I'm N2N, it's time to put on hyper-aggression to try to keep this game tied. They might do just that, but Bob will keep it to the corner. Solo with the demo. No room to breathe so far for N2N.
Zero looking to get the ball over to center, but S-Class Wizard ready on the defense. Get that ball on out of there. Now starting to move down over on Olivett's side. Never mind, because Etch-a-Sketch is ready to keep that ball, keep up that pressure. N2N a lot cleaner right now in terms of their shadow defense right now. You can see the rotations that they're making over here in order to heard that gasp, but
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
I was like,
oh, is
I
it coming?
thought we were getting. Sometimes Class Wizard, everyone in chat who's an RLSS knower knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes Class Wizard just finds these angles and these accidental shots that should not work, and I thought that was going to be one of them, but not so far.
I'm the Bob looking to get this ball around. S-Class Wizard takes a shot, and it is in! That is a 2-0 lead right now in game number 5. N2N starting to need to really pick up this pace.
2 minutes, 9 seconds to work with. You're down 2-0. You've absolutely had games brought to you. You've brought it to Olivett Gaming, but I talked about the 4-0, the magic number 4. We've talked about the shutouts and how good that's felt. Etch-a-Sketch across the pitch, gets caught, and S-Class Wizard says no. Maybe that would have been the shot to keep N2N in the game, but in my mind, despite it only being 2 goals, just with the way we've seen the scale shift back and forth in this game, N2N needs to score in this next 45 seconds to keep this game competitive.
S-Class Wizard shot just off the mark for that open goal for N2N, looking to put that one into a 3-0 lead, but was unable to do so. Now, ball at center field, Zero looking to get close down on in here as well. Teams are not slowing down on the aggression, you know, here in game number 5. In the previous games, it felt like, okay, Olivett got a little bit of a lead, and
wow, Bob
Okay.
with just the slow roller.
Thank you for
off the taps.
I'm just
That is the most on-brand shot for this back and forth, because that was the shot no one expected. You expect the big ones, the ceilings, the off the corners. You expect your big flip resets in the big moments. Just the ball dribbling on through. No one would have thought about that being the case, and now that puts N2N in a 3-0 hole that they've got to come back from. Etch-a-Sketch and Zero both set up, but Class Wizard not going to allow it through this time. That is 1 minute left on the clock for N2N to mount their comeback here in Game 5 on Champions Field, and I just don't know if they can do it.
Yeah, you know, if the previous games have anything to say about it, and Bob is just going to be Bob right now here in game
Bob
number
moment.
5. That is twice now, Bob, I've been trying to talk, and he just kind of cuts me off with something like that. So, I appreciate
off
it.
the bounce from Zippy too, Zek. That is so unfortunate for N2N.
That's one of those things you hate to see. 4-0 here in game number 5. Olivett is looking to put it away, and they're doing a really good job at it. You know, slower start. Well, I don't want to say a slower start. It was a very aggressive from both of these teams. No scores ended up happening because of that play style. But now it's starting to get a little bit more defining. You know, here in the previous games of this set, we've been able to see that once that team gets that lead, they don't let it go at all. You know, they make sure to knock it in, nail in the coffin, seal the deal, whatever you want to say about it. But once they get that lead, they hold on to it for dear life.
I, so far, feel like every game has been a completely new series. The shutouts, the back and forths, the dominance, but Zach, I think Olivett might do it.
That right now, I mean, 4 goals, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's close. You know, they might make it, but they aren't going to be able to. Oh, one last goal for Etch-a-Sketch. We appreciate that.
Hey, that
one.
does matter for standings.
It does. Right now, Etch-a-Sketch putting one on the board, not wanting to walk away with a donut here in game number 5, but with 0 seconds on the clock,
Yep.
that is going to put us away. Olivett Gaming end up taking game number 5, taking the set 3-2, and I'm seeing a trend with this team.
I am as well. I'm not surprised to see Olivett do Olivett things, but I was pleasantly surprised at what we saw from the N2N Titans. I feel like that was a strong showing. The only thing that I would have liked to see change and that I'd be looking for in the future, honestly, just has to be that big C word again. But this time it's consistency, because there was a very different N2N game to game to game. If we had seen the game 1 N2N in that game 5, it would have been an overtime. But we didn't see that. We saw a very different, uncomfortable team. Not a lot of shot opportunities, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it felt like they were, I don't want to even say constantly on defense. It just felt like they weren't on offense, you know? Like you said, getting that aggression, getting that consistency. We saw it in game number 1. Game 1, they came out flying. And I mean flying. They were in the faces of Olivett Gaming. They were in the faces of each of these members, in the goal, shoving it down. And it just felt like we didn't keep that over the course of the games. You know, it felt like it came back game number 4. It happened a little bit at the start of game number 5, but once that first goal comes out, it just, for both of these teams, felt like that momentum sort of started to drain. You know, you're looking at it at this deficit, you're down even just 1 score, and all of a sudden it feels like it starts to hit in the nerves, so to say.
It does indeed, but the best part about games like that is when we get to talk to the winning team after, and I do believe we're going to talk with Solo right now, so I'll join you down in home number 1, Zach, so we can talk with Solo and get some thoughts post-game. Solo, my friend, how's it going?
Oh boy, I'm feeling good. How are you doing, Anthony?
I am doing well, and I have Zek with me as well. He had his first RLSS cast today, and you gave him an exciting one. You guys made it a big back and forth, that's for certain. Definitely not, I'm sure, the one you guys wanted, having been shut out a couple of times, but right out the gate, the biggest thing I want to ask was, did you guys kind of feel a little inconsistent, or was it just a matter of N2N was catching you off guard a couple of times? Because each game felt completely different from the last.
No, definitely. That's all on us. That stuff we need to tidy up. The fact that got away from us, it's a little upsetting. We know that. We got to work on that. So that's more of our issue. But overall, I mean, that's just stuff we got to look at and get better at.
Still,
and if I remember
sort of like
correctly,
season
Anthony,
2.
if I remember correctly, your first cast we took it to 5 as well. So
yeah,
it just
you
seems
guys
to be
are
a
good for
thing.
that. Yeah, you definitely like to give the newer casters a good first experience, a good run, see what they got. You know, you're the perfect example
Looks like
for that. So
Yeah.
in game number 5, it kind of felt like you guys were a little bit more crisp. But the one thing that we both talked about in the beginning was the rosters. I know I talked to you about this in week number 1 as well. Are you guys still in that same headspace if you're just trying stuff out with the substitutions in between games, or are you starting to have a more cohesive plan for, if we lose, we do this, if we are in a throwaway game, we run this? What's kind of the mindset there?
I got to think about
Yeah,
my
no,
words.
it's a tough one.
Because yes, we're still trying things out. We're really trying to figure out what does work, who works together, and whatnot. We find what works throughout the series, and we stay to that when time comes to it. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is that, you know, as we're trading off players throughout the series, you know, whatever's winning, we go to it when we need to. Game 4, we felt like we could give it if we needed to, just see what could work. I know SEMA, S-Class, and Babam were trying to make it work, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and it didn't work out well, and so they wanted to run it again, just to see what happens. So it's just something we got to work on. Like I said, I think we're still good enough where we're going to make playoffs, and that's what we're aiming for, is just what's going to work in playoffs, and how we can achieve a victory this season.
Certainly makes sense to me. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, you know, kind of knocked that one out of the park with talking about the teams. So instead, I'll say, looking right now, team week 1, 3-2 victory. Week 2, 3-2 victory. Week 3, 3-2 victory.
It's a theme.
Yeah, are you just gonna keep this one going for the rest of the season?
I'll tell you what, Zach. We're gonna give the 5-knuckle shuffle to every team possible in this series. It's just John Cena all the way. No, it's not fun. I'll tell you that. Game 5 every week is not fun. Like, we just want to be able to blow somebody out. It's just not happening. These teams, RLSS has some tough competition. I think we're finding that out real quickly. So hopefully we find our groove here pretty soon. But I mean, it could be going both ways. Maybe we're playing the tougher part of our season right now and barely making through, and then we're about to play a part of our season where it gets a little bit easier.
You say barely make it through, but when it looks good, it looks good. Don't get me wrong. You know,
I
I'm
agree.
watching it. When it looks good, it looks good. When it looks rough, it looks a little rough. You know, I think sanding off those edges, though, like you guys were talking about, finding what's working, finding what works in the draft, and just moving things around. So that right there, I think, is what's going to be key to maybe separating this 3-2 start you guys are having.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the content, though. Don't get me wrong. 5 games is 5 games. I can't go wrong with that.
I think they were all blowouts, though, going either way. I don't think there was any close games. I felt like they were all 3-goal games, which is crazy to even think about, that a team can throw punches at each other like that, and it's just opposite ends.
We'll see if he jinxed it.
I'm hoping.
Don't tell me that.
Was that all the questions that you had tonight, Zek?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome.
We're good. I
Well,
appreciate them.
yeah, as always, Solo, thank you for talking afterwards. I always appreciate that, and congrats on the win, and big shout-outs, of course, to the Next to New Titans for giving you guys, again, more content and another run for your money going 5 games.
Yeah.
Good luck in next week's set, Solo, if I cast it or not, and I'm sure I'll talk to you again soon.
Oh, yeah, you'll cast that game 5, too.
Definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, let me just write it down now.
Oh my God.
Content. Get it all in there, yeah.
Thursday at 8. Put it down.
So we'll head back to the studio and say our goodnight, Solo. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Always. Well, all right. That does bring us to the end of our night. Thank you guys for the kind words. Make sure you guys give all the praise to Zek for killing it in his first Rocket League cast and making it sound like he's done hundreds before and making it so easy.
Come on,
to
don't
work
say
with.
hundreds. don't say hundreds. At least a dozen. No,
Okay,
I'm kidding.
I'll say 2 dozen. I'll go a little bit higher than that.
2 dozen. Oh.
But-
Okay.
I will raid Nate Frog. Can
It's
someone just
one-
type out his Twitch name for me? And we'll send over there. I know he's somebody I've not yet met from RLSS. But thank you guys for hanging. Thank you, Zek, so much. You can see Zek's socials on the screen, so make sure that you do that. Let me give a quick shout out actually to him, because I know how to do streamer stuff, right? I can do that.
Ooh. We big streamers now?
Is there an underscore in your name?
No.
Okay. So make sure you guys give a follow to Zex. I will certainly appreciate that. Hopefully this is not the last time that he joins me on a cast. Maybe we'll even get him on some of his own casts in the future here in RLSS, but that will do it for us tonight. We're going to raid out to Nate Frog, so send all the love to Nate. Tell him hello. You know, say your Malum moments, all the fun stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks RLSS for having us as always. You guys have a wonderful night. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. GG's to both teams, and good night.